Hey cinephiles, this month in Movies Delivered, a fresh slate of horror films ripe for spooky season, the top film from this year's Cannes Film Festival, and the latest from some of our greatest filmmakers. With Taylor Swift dominating the box office, I am here to offer some cinematic counter-programming. And that's not meant to be shade on Tay-Tay. I saw the Eras tour on opening night, and yeah, it lives up to the hype. But let's face it, she doesn't need any help getting the word out. This is my monthly series wherein I curate a list of 10 new movies to watch. While my selection is based on release dates in the United States, it should still serve any cinephile as a list of films to look out for. Stick around after my countdown to see what the Cineflick community voted as the movie they were most excited to see this month. Without further ado, let's start the countdown with a pair of horror films to set the mood. Number 10, VHS 85. Unveiled through a made-for-TV documentary, 5 chilling tales of found-footage horror emerge to take viewers on a gore-filled journey through the grim underbelly of the forgotten 1980s. This marks the 6th installment in the infamous horror anthology series, which for my time and money is one of the best ongoing things for my favorite genre. As with each installment, there are highs and lows, and overall I'd rank 85 somewhere in the middle, but it does have the best framing device to date, an area where this franchise has previously faltered, with an amazing payoff. What's more, the 7th installment of VHS was just announced at New York Comic-Con, teasing a bold new sci-fi spin on things. They keep making them, I'll keep watching them. VHS 85 is now streaming exclusively on Shudder.
Why don't you just tell us where you got these videotapes from? Tell us what they are.
You should just watch them.
Number 9, Divinity. 2 mysterious brothers abduct a mogul during his quest for immortality, while a seductive woman helps them launch a journey of self-discovery. This is the latest from indie writer-director Eddie Alcazar, whose fascinating career started in video games before transitioning into film. Produced by Steven Soderbergh, Divinity is a sci-fi fantasy horror thriller that looks like nothing else and feels like nothing else. It premiered at the Sundance Film Festival and has been heralded as a cult classic in the making and a black and white acid trip. Distributed by Utopia, Divinity is now playing in select theaters.
Bigger. Stronger. Faster.
I've got some more horror in store later in the countdown, but let's take a break for now with number 8, The Holdovers. A cranky history teacher at a prep school is forced to remain on campus over the holidays with a student who has no family plans. This is the latest film from writer-director Alexander Payne, who over the last 20 years has cranked out some of the best dramedies about middle-aged men, about Schmidt, Sideways, and The Descendants. He's reteaming with Sideways star Paul Giamatti for what looks to be a worthy addition to that lineup. The Holdovers premiered at the Telluride Film Festival to great acclaim. Distributed by Focus Features, it is now playing in select theaters.
This is your Rubicon. Do not cross the Rubicon. The Holdovers.
On a bittersweet note this spooky season, it's fitting to honor the man who directed one of the best horror films of all time, The Exorcist, the late, great William Friedkin, who we lost this summer at the age of 87. No, this is not a lead-in to talk about The Exorcist Believer, which critics and audiences alike are losing their faith over, and I'm sure Friedkin would have despised that film.
The people who made this piece of shit are in this room!
Instead, I'm going to highlight Friedkin's final film, number 7, The Caine Mutiny Court Marshal. A naval officer stands trial for mutiny after taking command from a ship's captain he felt was acting in an unstable fashion, endangering both the ship and its crew. This courtroom drama stars a few good men, including Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Clarke, Jake Lacey, and another late great, Lance Reddick. Writing for IndieWire, Christian Zilko praised the film, saying, "Stellar acting from its ensemble cast, and the film's remarkable understanding of human nature make it hard to ever forget that the new Hollywood legend is lurking behind the camera." The Caine Mutiny Court Marshal premiered out of competition at the Venice International Film Festival to a positive reception. Distributed by Republic Pictures, it bypassed a theatrical release, which I'm guessing Friedkin would have choice words about as well.
I don't give a flying fuck into a rolling donut.
After debuting on Showtime, it is now also on VOD.
Isn't it obvious that one of you is not telling the truth?
Now, let's move from one legal proceeding to another. Number 6, Anatomy of a Fall. A woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and their blind son faces a moral dilemma as the sole witness. This French courtroom drama thriller premiered at the Cannes Film Festival back in May to near universal acclaim, where it won the Palme d'Or, with writer-director Justine Triet becoming only the 3rd woman to receive that honor. The film stars Sandra Hüller, who was in another of Cannes' best films, The Zone of Interest, which you can bet I'll be covering in December. Distributed by Neon, Anatomy of a Fall is now playing in select theaters.
The autopsy report is inconclusive.
I think he fell.
An accidental fall is gonna be hard to defend. Nobody's gonna believe that.
Number 5, Once Within a Time. A comedic, apocalyptic vision of the end of the world and the beginning of a new one, with unforgettable views and the innocence and hope of a new generation. That esoteric synopsis describes the latest from the mind of Godfrey Reggio, the experimental documentarian behind the legendary Cozzi trilogy, which, if you've never seen the first film in that series, Koyaanisqatsi, it is a must-have experience in my book. With Once Within a Time, Reggio, alongside co-director and editor John Kane, had conjured a mind-melting cinematic odyssey, all set to original music from Reggio's longtime collaborator Philip Glass, a legend in his own right. Distributed by Oscilloscope Laboratories, Once Within a Time is now playing in select theaters. Number 4, Priscilla. When teenage Priscilla meets Elvis Presley at a party, the man who is already a meteoric rock and roll superstar becomes someone entirely unexpected in private moments. A thrilling crush, an ally in loneliness, a vulnerable best friend. After all the bombast of Baz Luhrmann's Elvis last year, I'm ready for a more elegant and intimate portrait from one of my favorite filmmakers, Sofia Coppola, who has adapted Priscilla Presley's 1985 memoir, Elvis and Me. Priscilla premiered at the Venice International Film Festival, where Coppola and star Kaylee Spaney were praised for their heartfelt efforts. Distributed by A24, Priscilla is now playing in theaters.
Priscilla, what about boys at school? Must be some handsome ones.
Number 3, The Killer. After a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal. This is the latest from David Fincher, working from a script by Andrew Kevin Walker. Their previous collaboration resulted in Seven, one of the best films of the 90s.
What's in the box?
Michael Fassbender stars as the titular assassin, as well as my favorite actress, Tilda Swinton. The Killer premiered last month in competition at the Venice Film Festival to favorable reviews. Distributed by Netflix, it is now playing in select theaters before streaming on November 10th.
Hey.
Alright, when I started this video, I had every intention of giving The Killer the number 2 spot. We're talking about a new film from David Fincher after all. But then I saw number 2, When Evil Lurks. In a remote village, 2 brothers find a possessed man about to give birth to evil itself. They attempt to dispose of him, but merely succeed in spreading the chaos. Holy hell, y'all. This movie gripped me by the groin and made my jaw drop. Argentinian writer-director Demian Rugna holds nothing back in this brutal, bleak, but brilliantly realized story of demonic possession. 2023 has yielded a bountiful crop of horror, and this makes a case for placement at the top of that pile. I'm reluctant to say more or show more, and simply want to implore my fellow horror hounds to see this for themselves. Distributed by IFC Films and Shudder, When Evil Lurks is currently playing in select theaters and streaming on Shudder.
Los tiempos de la fe se terminan rápido.
Look, it's simple. When Scorsese makes a new film, I reserve the top of the podium for him. Number 1, Killers of the Flower Moon. When oil is discovered in 1920s Oklahoma under Osage Nation land, their people are murdered one by one until the FBI steps in to unravel the mystery. 3 names: Scorsese, De Niro, DiCaprio. This marks the 10th collaboration between Scorsese and De Niro, and his 6th with DiCaprio, but the first time he has directed them in the same film. And how about a 4th name that everyone will be talking about during award season? Lily Gladstone, who is already being touted as a Best Actress frontrunner. Scorsese stans have been awaiting this film for years, and we've known this was his next project even before The Irishman released. Adapting David Grann's nonfiction book of the same name, this is a 3.5-hour crime epic from the guy who rewrote the rulebook for crime epics. Distributed by Apple and Paramount, Killers of the Flower Moon has bloomed in theaters everywhere before heading to Apple TV Plus at a later date.
Can you find the wolves in this picture?
And those are my picks for the 10 best new movies to watch. Over on the Cineflex community tab, I asked, what movie are you most excited to see in October? And Killers of the Flower Moon eclipsed the competition with 64% of the vote. Have you seen any of these movies? Which ones are you most excited for? Are there any that I left out? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you down there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Cineflex for video essays, film lists, and more.
I got this!
And click that bell next to the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. For Cineflex, I'm JS Lewis. Until next time, watch something good.